Today, we'll be going over a big dream match for Alexa Bliss, a name change for Seth Rollins, Vince McMahon's Firefly Funhouse reactions, and much more. Let's start things off with this brief update for Seth Rollins. WWE has officially given Seth Rollins a name change for his character. Usually when it comes to name changes, it usually consists of getting rid of a first or last name. But what they have decided to do with Seth Rollins is give him a middle name, nickname. WWE is now listing Seth Rollins under the ring name of Seth Freakin Rollins. Technically speaking, this isn't a new nickname at all. Seth used this name a few years ago during his most recent babyface run, but Seth used it back then more as a catchphrase. He even had Seth Freakin Rollins t-shirts, and it was a big thing for the character back then. But when he turned heel in late 2019, early 2020, Seth and WWE completely disregarded the catchphrase and nickname, and it was no longer used. Fast forward 2 years later, and not only is the catchphrase making a return, it's his actual ring name now. So it may be weird at first because we'll no longer hear Seth Rollins as much anymore because commentators and other superstars will now refer to him as his full name of Seth Freakin Rollins. So whenever you want to bring him up, sounds like WWE superstars will have to address him by that full name. WWE has even changed all the graphics and posters to feature this new name and change. Seth even acknowledged the name change himself on Twitter by saying, quote, "Seth Freakin Rollins on the birth certificate, babes," end quote. He also posted that tweet with a gif that said, "Danger's my middle name." So that's what it seems like the name change is all about. It'll sort of be a middle name for the character. Sort of like what we saw over the summer with the change of Keith Lee to Keith Barricat Lee. Only difference being that Keith Lee went through a dramatic transformation with that name change. Keith Lee had new ring gear, a new presentation, a new persona, and all these other new elements to go with the name change. So what will Seth Rollins receive to go with this change? Will he go through a little transformation and changes to his character to better explain this name change? Or will he just continue to be his usual self, and this name change won't really have a consequence to the character? That's something we'll have to keep our eyes on, but Seth Rollins is now officially known as Seth Freakin Rollins. Spring of 2019 saw something brand new to WWE programming. And that was, of course, the debut of Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse. Bray Wyatt had been removed from television for a long time at that point, and the rumor was that he'll have a new character that no one sees coming. And that turned out to be actually true. The once mysterious cult leader appeared to now be this happy host of a children's show. Bray was this jolly host in a room full of colorful puppets and characters, and it was something that no one saw coming. Of course, after the first introduction of the Firefly Funhouse, everyone's head was spinning, wondering what in the world they just saw. Everyone sorta took it as a joke at the start, and thought that Bray Wyatt was done, that this wasn't going anywhere. But fast forward a few months, and there was a brief period there, before Hell in a Cell and before Goldberg, that Bray Wyatt had become the hottest act in pro wrestling. After the impressive debut of The Fiend at SummerSlam, fans thought we were witnessing the birth of the next iconic superstar character that will go down in history forever. And it was a very special act for a while, until it was eventually ruined, just a few short months later. But Bray Wyatt's close friend and partner, Jason Baker, recently spoke with Metro to talk about Vince McMahon's initial reactions to what they were doing with the Firefly Funhouse. Jason had this to say about the creation of the Funhouse, quote, "We stayed up until 2, 3 in the morning just chatting about what we could do, what we should do, what we probably could do. We're probably not going to get away with that, so we should just drop this idea now." Just things like that. But there was some potential for other characters, other puppets, other looks, other things. That's the thing. We were always just trying to add something new to it, something fresh, and just keep it going. I wasn't there every week, I wasn't there all the time, but I will say this, a lot of times guys like Vince would listen to ideas. They'd really take it under consideration and allow us to run rampant with a lot of things. At a particular time, I remember when we first started it, There was a time where we could just do whatever we wanted, and Vince was like, okay guys, I trust you. I don't know the ins and outs of what happened or what went down, but he was very open. He listened to us. He listened to ideas. I think that's definitely credit to him." End quote. So Baker, who was in charge of the props and special effects of the Funhouse, said that Vince McMahon was very open with the Funhouse at first. It sounded like Vince McMahon turned over the creative freedom to Bray and Jason and allowed them to do whatever they wanted in the Firefly Funhouse. Of course, that was all towards the beginning of the Funhouse. As time went on, it definitely seemed like there might have been a little conflict or issue there. But at least towards the start, Vince McMahon didn't really get in the way and allowed them to take the wheel. Bray and Jason are still working together on the new movie project, so we'll have to see how that turns out as well. The duo of Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss was a lot of fun to watch, and probably was the most intriguing pairing WWE has seen in quite some time. Although they were great together, their actual usage and what they accomplished as a duo was extremely underwhelming compared to what it could have been. Alexa only officially managed The Fiend for literally one match, and she turned on him during that one match. So a lot of underwhelming circumstances there. But early on, before the pairing of Bray and Alexa was thrown away, there was this big dream match that the fans had created of Karrion Kross and Scarlett versus Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss. Fans love this idea of the matchup because of the similarities of the duos and how they really mirrored each other in a lot of different ways. Alexa and Scarlett were this mystery dark character, while Kross and Bray were dark and supernatural characters themselves. It was a perfect mixed tag team match to have. Bray and Kross even teased crossing paths on Twitter during that time, and it got the hype to grow even more. Well, Scarlett recently appeared on Signed by Superstars and admitted that she still wants that dream match to happen. She had this to say about the matchup, quote, "We were waiting for that to happen. I feel like our entrance was made for WrestleMania. We cannot wait to do that entrance for WrestleMania, and every time we talked to Bray, he was such a cool guy. I got along great with Alexa, so just maybe it'll happen somewhere else." End quote. 3 out of those 4 stars are free agents. The only name that remains in WWE is Alexa Bliss. So that started up a whole debate amongst the fans, if we could actually see this match take place somewhere else. A lot of fans doubt this match will ever take place outside of WWE because of Alexa Bliss. Alexa is obviously a big homegrown star for WWE, and she already made it known that after she's done with WWE, she wants to focus on family and potentially acting. So that's why fans feel like Alexa Bliss probably wouldn't want to wrestle outside of WWE. But again, never say never. No one knows how anything may turn out. So who knows if we do see this match take place somewhere else down the line. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.